Hello and welcome. My name's Gordon Dunbar and I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of some analysis that I did on restaurants in Nedlands. Whilst the information that you will see is very specific to that locality, you'll see that the analysis and the approach can be applied in many different ways to many different locations. In the end, the aim is to try and increase the number of customers that come in through your door. As part of that, if we go to a Google search engine using, for example, google.com.au, and we type in the search term restaurant in Nedlands, this is the results that we would end up seeing. On the right-hand side, a map, and on the left-hand side, a number of restaurants in Nedlands cross-referenced to the map through the tags with the alpha character showing. What a restaurateur should be asking themselves is, of the 7 businesses that are on the list, and I'm not there, why is it that my business isn't there, and what caused those 7 to be chosen out of the total of the number of restaurants that are located in in Nedlands. So the rest of the presentation really focuses on this issue. This is important because whilst this is only the first half of page 1 of Google, it's the first thing that a prospective customer will see when searching on Google for a restaurant in Nedlands. So to put this in a bit of context, there are 56 restaurants in Nedlands with a 6009 postcode. When using this term, only 7 that you saw come up on page 1 of the results. The rest of the page 1 results are dominated by local restaurant directories, which are not actually the restaurant websites themselves. So whilst that's an issue and it's certainly outside of the scope of this presentation, what it does mean though that the local map and the cross-referencing to that map is your best chance as a restaurant to get represented on the search on Google search engine. So how do you do that is what I'm going to show you. There are approximately 1,000 searches each month for restaurants in Nedlands in the various forms. So what I mean by that is restaurant in Nedlands, restaurants in Nedlands, and slight variations to any of those terms. People are looking for that, using that term or those terms to the extent of about 1,000 per month. So it means essentially that if you're not on that page 1, you're missing out on about 1,000 potential customers. Clearly, not everyone converts, but that's where this is leading to. So what are the key points? Firstly, that 94% of people do not go beyond page 1 search results. They either find what they're looking for or they go back and change their search criteria. They very rarely go on to page 2 and beyond. So if you were relying on the fact that your website is on page 2, 3 or 4, unfortunately that's not going to help you much. Secondly, 80% of people search online before committing to the products or services that they subsequently commit. So this is the equivalent of the old yellow pages where people might pull out the book and go searching for what they want. They're now using the search engines and particularly Google to do that searching for them. And 75% of customers change their decisions based on what other customers are saying in their reviews about the businesses that they're considering to purchase from. That's an important statistic because clearly customer reviews are an important part of swaying people's decisions, and whilst you may not actually have a facility for those customers to put reviews on your site, they are leaving them on other sites, inclusive of Yelp, True Local and Urban Spoon and many other dedicated businesses that are seeking to encourage customers to come there and give their views of the customer service, product, and so on. The big players like Google and Bing, Foursquare, Facebook and Yelp are all enticing local businesses to improve their online presence and rewarding them with higher page one search results using the maps. This is essentially a local search. So each one of them recognise the power of showing those businesses on a map. And so what they're doing is they're offering those local businesses, including you, a dedicated website where you go and register the details about your business, put up videos and opening hours and customer reviews and everything else. So this is a dedicated site that these big players are offering to you. And so there's a process that you need to go through to claim that, validate what information is on there and start to optimize it so that you're getting onto the local map. In fact, it's through that website that these big players are offering that actually gets you onto the map. And whilst there's a linkage between that and your website that helps to authenticate yourself and your presence online, they are in fact two separate activities that you're involved with. So the assumptions I'm making are that you could do with more customers. That's always a situation where you could you take on more customers, and so this presentation is very much focused on trying to help you with that objective. So if your website isn't listed on page one, it's unlikely to be attracting those new customers. So I'm suggesting to you that you need to be on the map, the local map, in order for you to attract those customers, because the rest of the real estate of page one of Google is being used by the local directories, and very few people look beyond page one. So it really forces you into a position of needing to be on that map in one form or fashion. As I said before, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to enhance your existing website. Clearly there is a linkage there, but the main play is to ensure that you claim the Google page that is being made available to you, and the same thing occurs with the pages that Bing, Foursquare, Face and Yelp offer you. So having a web page or website is important, but to be on page one you need to be better ranked than your competitors. And my analysis suggests that you have a very good chance of achieving this at this point in time, and hopefully the next few slides will help you in forming the same opinion. So the next slide actually compares restaurants found on Google page one local listing with those that aren't. So the page one local listings were the 7 restaurants that are on the map, and those that aren't on Google page one are the 49 restaurants that I mentioned earlier of the 56. So what this table does is it looks at averages, ranges and median. The average is simply the total of a set of numbers divided by the actual entries or records themselves. The range is the min and the max, and the median is the value lying at the midpoint of a range of numbers. So it's just an indice that helps you to gauge the relative difference between these two groups. Down the left-hand side, you'll see that I've got a whole host of things that I've been looking at. Citations are simply your name, address and phone number, and they are simply registered on a local directory somewhere. A good example of a local directory would be a Yellow Pages, but as you'll see in subsequent slides, I think I've identified over 240 local directories where you can register your business on. And what this table is showing us is for those 7 restaurants, they had on average 59 citations for their business compared to the 11 that the restaurants that aren't on page 1 have. So clearly the citations matter a lot in terms of getting a local map presence. Similarly, customer reviews, on average there was close to 6 customer reviews per restaurant compared to just under 2 for the other restaurants. Bad reviews, surprisingly there were a much higher level of bad reviews for the 7 compared to less than 1 on average per business for the other restaurants. Images, close to 5 images per restaurant for the 7 compared to less than 1 for the other restaurants. They all had websites for the 7 restaurants, whereas that wasn't the case for all restaurants for the remaining 49. Why it is that a restaurant would not have a website, I'm not sure, but there were examples of that. Backlinks are basically where another website will link to your website by cross-referencing something that you've said or done, or a picture or whatever you might have on your website. They've mentioned it in an article or a blog or something somewhere, and in the process of writing that, they've backlinked to you and your website. So these backlinks are quite important. They, from Google's algorithms point of view, they add to the authenticity of the business, and so those backlinks can exist both on the Google website page that they offer to local business and indeed to your own website. Web page ranking is a ranking that Google provide to businesses that show it's a general number that show the strength of that website relative to others. It's on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the strongest. Typically 5, 6s and 7s are awarded to educational and government websites. 0 and 1 would typically apply to a new website. So a 3 is not something significant, and the scale, by the way, is logarithmic, so it's not like each difference is the same. In fact, it's a lot harder to move from a 3 to a 4 than it is from a 2 to 3, for example. The claiming is actually, claiming talks about claiming the site that Google have provided you as your nominated local places page. Claiming is seen to be one of the top 5 activities that, if performed, adds to your credibility from Google's point of view. And it's interesting that both for those 7 and the remaining 49, that in general claiming has not occurred. Facebook presence is important. You'll see that in general those 7 did have a Facebook presence, whereas that's not the case with the others. And email address, again, they had their email address versus those that the remaining restaurants didn't. So the ones that appear to matter are the ones that I've circled. It seems to me that if a restaurant wanted to get onto page 1 and the local map, that they would be well guided by trying to improve their positioning in these areas, and that should certainly help in getting your business represented on page 1 and the map. I mentioned earlier this issue of citations. You can see here, here's a bit of a snapshot of and subset of about 240 local directories where the 7 restaurants listed have registered themselves, and they correspond with the tags across the top there. There's no reason why any restaurant or business can't register themselves in a similar fashion, and that service is available to you. The other question that should be crossing your mind is how difficult would it be to bump one of the 7 restaurants from the Google map? And this is another form of analysis, and I won't get into the numbers in any great way, but I just want to point out that if this map was predominantly coloured in red, then the conclusion would be it would be pretty difficult to bump those 7 from their current location. But you can see there's only a very small number of red instances. In fact, it's predominantly green with some yellow, which indicates that it's not a significant issue to reposition other companies and move them up the ladder and get you onto that map. So, are you interested? Having an effective online presence is probably the most powerful and indeed measurable way of building your business. So you can either do this yourself by further education, you can hire someone like me, or you can do a combination of A and B, and I'm happy to help with that situation as well. Normally this type of industry-specific and location-based analysis would cost around $300. There's a lot more to it than this, and however, what I'm offering you is prior to the 30th of June that I'm happy to provide the detail behind this analysis to the first 5 people that respond. So if you want the actual analysis itself in spreadsheet form, I'm happy to provide that to you. Or if you find this information interesting and you want to take action, you think you've seen enough and you want to reposition yourself, then give me a ring or email me, and my details are gordon.dunbar@gmail.com or by phone 0403 241 540. I hope you found this useful. Thank you.